What do you think is the best way to prepare ourselves for climate change on an individual and societal level? Is it maybe to close the borders to avoid having millions of people marching into this country? Is it being off-grid, having your own electricity, energy resource or water resource? Is it a huge reservoir on safe food and soap and blankets to be able to survive for months and maybe years to come? Is it to plant plants that are very strong, that can survive long periods of droughts? Is it maybe to build new bases on Moon or Mars? I don't think anything of it will be a long solution or any solution. We have to have more stronger measurements to deal with the climate change, to tackle the climate change that we will face in future, even more than now. And that has to come from deep within. So as long as we have afflictions such as attachment, anger, ignorance within our mind, climate change will come with it. We may build so many solar panels or have our independent water resources, or we may be even the best and most active climate activists. But as long as we have anger and attachment in our mind, we will not be able to change the situation we are living in, and we will not reverse it. Because from the Buddhist perspective, as we know, we will be reborn. And as long as we take these imprints of anger and attachment, ignorance with us, we will be compelled to abuse our environment because we don't realize the interdependence we are living in. We don't realize how important it is to protect the air, to protect the soil, the water. And when I was in my 20s, in my early 20s, I was living in a world in my mind, and probably also in the outside world, fully compelled to materialistic consumerism. So I was not just attracted to materialism, to have a perfect apartment, to have an income, financial income, to have a cultural life, to have a rich social life, to have a partner I have physical sensations with, and nourishment and all that. I was so occupied with that when something of it was missing, I needed to replace it. I had no other tool actually to deal with the change that came. So then when I started to a little bit learn about Buddhism, to sit down and meditate, then something shifted in my mind slowly over a period of many years. And I remember I was in Berlin in my beginning of the 20s, and I was quite attached to the city I lived in, Berlin, and also to my friends and to the relationship I was in. Everything was kind of nice, but I looked and asked myself, let's say you live 20 more years and you live within that relationship, you have a family, but things will change. And I saw Berlin, okay, the buildings are getting older, then the air may get worse, we have more overpopulation, more sickness, less nutrition in the food, less access to medical care and all that. So I kind of envisioned that, and I thought there will be suffering coming with that. And can I deal with the suffering I have right now within myself, just the suffering I have? No. Can I deal with the suffering that I may face when there are more problems coming towards us? No. So I knew that I had to change something. I knew that I can't just rest on this relationship. I knew that I can't just rest on my material safety I built around me. And over a long period of time, I changed. I changed my outlook and focused on practicing Buddhism, as you know. And it was a painful process too. I remember so clearly, it was a painful process to say to myself, I will not rest on a relationship. I will focus my energy and intention on spiritual growth, on the Dharma. I know I was crying the whole night when I made this firm decision. I remember it so well. Especially when one doesn't have yet a teacher around who gives maybe support and encouragement that one is able to go that path. But luckily I found a teacher, and many more teachers also who gave teachings that I used to grow further and further. But then there was another trick that wanted me to be very strongly attached. And then I reigned, and I was in a more spiritual world, so to say. But then I had attachment towards the teacher. I thought the teacher will make me happy, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama make me happy, or Venerable Shutten shall make me happy. Providing always the happiness from the outside without really knowing that the happiness cannot be found in the outside. It has to come from within. The teacher may give us the tools how to approach that, how to nourish our Buddha potential, how to develop that potential that we have within. And it's another very painful process, actually, that I personally went through and sometimes come back to when the mind is not stable enough to rely on the Dharma alone. So I think if we really want to be able to tackle whatever we face in future or even now, may it be climate change or a personal sickness, or for me it's climate change. I'm looking at the environment, I think, okay, right now it doesn't look too good. Think about 100 years, 200 years, and from the karmic perspective, if I have the karma to be born on this planet, I want to have some good imprints in my mind to be able to handle the change. And I have to really ask myself what makes me really happy, and come back to nourishing whatever I can to develop my inner strength, to use the Dharma tools to make myself so strong that I can transform situations that are challenging, and be a compassionate and kind and wise person that I want to be able to not just benefit myself, but everybody else around me. So I'm not striving to be an environmentalist per se, but I feel it's very, very important if we want to sustain the Dharma and benefit sentient beings, that this planet gives us such good conditions to practice the Dharma. And right now we have still excellent conditions. We have still water, fresh air, and all the elements that are around that are nourishing and helping us to survive. So as long as we have these opportunities, and His Holiness was saying it in his teachings some days ago as well, he was saying still we have good conditions to make use of them. So I wanted to leave that with you to think about that a little further when you are stuck maybe, or you have a challenge, that we are all looking within and see where do we look for happiness, and maybe then we discover that again that happiness does not come from our teacher, does not come from the environment per se, does not come from food or whatever it is, or from our body. And so maybe focus more on developing our potential, attain Buddhahood, so that we can fulfill our highest purpose in life.